talking about a biology class, biology is what? Biology is the study of what? Life. Which means we need to know, what does that mean? What does it mean to be alive? What are some characteristics that classify something as alive? Movement. Okay. If the earth shakes, these chairs are going to move around. Does that mean they're alive? But you're right, movement is part of it.
Having the ability to reproduce.
Reproduction becomes an important part. And again, I'm going to keep throwing this out there because there are lots of things that do it. It's really the culmination of all of them that make it matter. Because if you have a fire and it blows to the next tree, could we consider that reproduction? Maybe. But yeah, reproduction is one.
Pulse?
Say again?
Pulse?
Do trees have pulses?
Nope.
Nope. But animals do. For animals, yes. Cells become a big part of it. Anything else? Yep.
I wonder if waste.
Yep. Producing material. Absolutely. So we've already got quite a few of them. What we're going to do is we're going to hit them all a little at a time. I'm going to give you examples of all. You'll notice with your homework question, I can tell you right now it's probably the longest homework question you're going to answer.
Yep.
Where it talks about list and describe characteristics of living things. That's probably a one-page answer.
Yeah, you gotta take
Because
the
we're going to have all
notes.
the steps, then we're going to have conversations. The conversations are where the rest of the information comes from. So if we're looking at living things, all living things are made up of one or more cells. Now, if you're a living thing, where the whole organism is made up of one cell, what do we call that thing? What's the name for a single-celled organism?
Prokaryote?
Well, they are prokaryotes, but not all single-celled organisms are prokaryotes. All prokaryotes are single-cell, but not the other way. I'll give you a hint. What do we call that bicycle that only has one wheel? The unicycle, so
Unicellular.
unicellular. So single-celled organisms where the whole organism is only one cell is a unicellular organism. Organisms where the organism is more than one cell are called what? Multicellular. So we've got unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. All living things exhibit what we call a hierarchical organization. Meaning they start primitive and get more sophisticated or more elaborate. Now you're responsible for everything between organelles and biosphere. There is more on either side, and I can't tell you half a story. So we're going to start at the very beginning and go to the very end. But keep in mind, it's just the stuff between organelles and biosphere that you actually need to know. What is the smallest particle of matter we have in the universe? What's the smallest thing we got that still retains all its characteristics?
A quark?
That still retains all of its characteristics. A
Organelles.
little too small. You're right, there are subatomic particles, but in a more general sense. I already gave you the answer in the answer to his question. What do you think? Yeah. Atom is considered the smallest particle that still maintains all the quantities of it. You're right, there are quarks and neutrinos and other things, but we're not quite that small. And groups of atoms come together to make what? We call a bunch of atoms interacting with each other.
Molecules?
Molecules. Again, we haven't got to organelles yet, so you don't technically have to know them for the test, but I still gotta give you a little story. Molecules can come together to make what? The name actually means big molecules. It was a prefix you can put in front of anything that makes it big. I'll give you a hint. The opposite would be micro. Macro. So molecules can form macromolecules. Macromolecules actually can come together to form these things that we call biomolecules, and we'll study about those next week. Proteins, lipids, carbohydrates, etc. But we're finally on the board. Biomolecules come together to make what? Everybody gets this one, because I told you it's right on the board.
Organelles.
Organelles. Things like chloroplast, mitochondria, etc. that we'll learn about later. Well, organelles come together to make what? Organelle, to make cells.
Atoms, molecules, and macro, and then what's after that?
Biomolecules, then we get to the organelles. Organelles come together to make cells. What do groups of cells come together to make?
Tissue.
Tissues. Muscle tissue, epithelial tissue, nervous tissue, etc., etc., etc. What do groups of tissues come together to make?
Organs?
Organs. Your heart, your lungs, your stomach, etc. Groups of organs come together to make what? I'm hearing mumbling, but I don't hear where it came from. Systems. Organs come together to make organ systems, your digestive system, your reproductive system, your cardiovascular system. Organ systems come together to make what? You are one of these. An organism. You're composed of a whole bunch of organs.